Okay, welcome to second week of Psy 1010 General Psychology in the bachelor degree. And we are waiting also for Hami to enter the session. And this course can have a huge data for you for every aspect of your life as a general psychology.
Hello.
Welcome, Hami. In this week, we will talk about two parts. At first, about sensation and perception, and after that, about if we had enough time, we will talk about the alternative and altered states of consciousness, and totally about the consciousness and the states of consciousness. In the chapter about sensation and perception, we will talk about define absolute threshold, explain the different threshold and Weber's law, and discuss sensory adaptation. What's the meaning of sensation?
Sensation.
What does it mean? Sensation. From this word, sensory.
Is something have to do with your senses?
Is it anything about feeling or not?
Maybe feeling.
In some part, in what type of sensation you will call it feeling or emotion or mood or affect? Are they same or not different? What is the core concept in the meaning of sensation? Not sensitivity, sensation. What is the key word, the key concept in the meaning of sensation? In contrast with the emotion, with the affect, with the sensitivity, with the mood and feeling. Matthew, anything in your mind about the core concept in the meaning of sensation? Is there anything in your mind about the meaning of sensation?
Well, it has, so I guess basically what you just said, like feelings, like feeling the presence.
No, sensation is not relative to feeling. Sensation is about your five senses, four body senses: visual, auditory, tactile, taste, and smell. These are your five special and general senses. And the most important function of your senses are about gathering information from your outside environment and inside environment, your body. It is sense of position, for example, pre-prognosis, something like it. It is the sense of your inner body, the situation of your sitting, of your sleeping, of your sense of balance in your ears also. These are the inner senses. And outer senses, external senses, about, for example, visual, what you are looking at, how can you receive the color, the light by your eyes and your neural system and nervous system until your brain. And after that, some interpretation that what color it is. The first part, for gathering information, it is about sensation. The second part, about the meaning of what you have sensed, it's about perception. So perception is giving meaning. It is producing meaning for your senses. Your senses is about your receivers, and it is called receptors. Receptors is sensory receptors. For example, visual sensory receptors in your back part of your eyes. Your auditory sensory receptors in your ears. Or in whole your body, every aspect of your body has some tactile. Tactile is the sense of touching, is called tactile. All your skin has several tactile sensory receptors. or for a smell in your nose or your taste in your mouth. These are your sensations. It's not related to feeling about to have consciousness about your emotion. For example, if you are angry, it's not your feeling, it's your emotion because of many somatic and body-based signs and symptoms in your body. It is called anger. Consciousness about anger is called aggression. Aggression is your feeling. Aggression is your act, is your behavior. So we have very specific differences between mood, emotion, affect, and feeling. And on the other side, it is sensation. Sensation is not related to your feeling. Sensation is about what you can receive from your environmental, from your external environment as the senses. It is sensation. And there is a neurological path from your receptors, sensory receptors, and going to your brain, from your spinal cord, going out to your subcortical brain, and after that, cortical brain. Sorry, I should. And after that, your cortical brain. It is perception. So for perception, we have many interpretator centers or perceptionary centers, perceptual centers in your brain. Perception is about spinal cord and your brain, different parts of your brain. For example, sometimes you go to the physician and said, I have some headache at the back part of my head. This what? I have some headache. You are talking with your physician about your headache, but your doctor send you to the ophthalmologist, the specialist physician about the eye, and they will check your eye. And they said, yes, because your eyes have some problems, you experience some headache at the back part of your brain. Why? Because the perceptual, visual part of brain is this part. It is perceptual. It is at the back of your head. Your eyes is about the sensory part. This part is your perceptual part. And when you have some pain, some headache here, they at first check your eyes. With this introduction, we will go to the major parts. Absolute threshold. We have a stimulus in the external environment, and we have a receptor. For example, you cannot hear the voice between my hands. You cannot hear. Your auditory it is about your hearing, about your ears. Your auditory cannot perceive and receive the waves of my hand, but you can hear now. It is your threshold. Your auditory threshold is not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. It is near your threshold. You can hear it. You can hear it so good. It is about your auditory. In the night, you go to the dark. At first, you cannot see anything. We will talk about the sensory adaptation in the next slides. After, for example, 1 minute or 2 minutes, you can recognize something. Not everything, but something. But in a daylight, it's comfortable to see everything. Why not? This is absolute threshold. the smallest intensity of a stimulus that must be present for it to be detected, for it to be sensed, for it to be perceived, received by your receptors. The smallest intensity. Under the absolute threshold, you cannot sense it. You cannot receive it. It is here. You cannot hear those. There's a voice you cannot hear, and I also cannot hear, but there's a voice. Different animals, different threshold. For example, for smalling, what is the best absolute threshold? Very, very, very small for dog. Dog has a very smell acuity. Acuity is the severity of that sense is called acuity. For example, visual acuity. How acute, how specific things with the details you can detect in your mind by your eyes. It is visual acuity. What small voices you can hear. It is auditory acuity. So absolute threshold is the smallest intensity of a stimulus that must be present for it to be detected. The keyword are at first smallest to detected. Also, one of them is intensity. The smallest intensity of a stimulus that must be present for it to be detected. We are talking about sensations. We are talking about the relationship between stimulus and receptors and the effect that the stimulus can have on receptors. It is Weber's law. Difference there, so just noticeable difference we talked about just now. And sensory adaptation. An adjustment to sensory capacity when a stimuli in the environment are unchanging, getting used to a sensory stimulus so that you no longer have the same reaction to it as you initially did. What does it mean? Except of pain receptors, because receiving the pain and detecting the pain is a vital sign. When you have pain, you need to do something. Pain is a call to adventure, is a call to action. When you have pain, you should do something. Except of pain, other general and specific senses has the sensory adaptation. For example, if you do it, after 1 or 2 minutes, you cannot understand that your hand is warming, getting warmer and warmer and warmer. Why? Because after getting used to a sensory, you no longer have the same reaction to it as you initially did. Or, for example, your smelling. If you go to a shop for perfume, after 1 or 2 or 3 perfume tester, you cannot find the new smells. So sometimes they give you some seeds of coffee. You smell coffee, and coffee open again your smell receptors. It is sensory adaptation. Sensory adaptation, except of pain, is very good because it learns you how to adapt with a huge number of sensations around yourself. Except of that, you will be crazy. It is very good that you cannot understand all voices around you. It is very good. It is very good that you cannot understand all the pressure just now on your body. For example, on the chair, on the seat, between you and your shoes, and other parts of your life. It is very good that you cannot understand, you cannot perceive, you cannot sense all the pressures, all the senses around yourself, except of pain. Pain is vital. This is called sensory adaptation. Okay, vision. Shedding light on our eye. Let's explain the basic structure of the eye and compare and contrast color vision with color blindness. It's very important. You can see the structure of eye here. Light passes through the cornea, pupil, and the lens before reaching the retina. The back part of your eyes is called retina. At first it is cornea. And after that, you can see pupil. And after that, you cannot see my lens. And after that, some actions on the light, and the light will enter to the backest part of your eye, which is called retina. Retina converts light to electrical impulses. Before retina, everything is light. After retina, there is nothing so-called light. It is electrical impulses. Why? Because after that, the neural system begins. And how energy, how pulses transfer through the neurons, it is by electrical impulses and rods and cones and optical nerve and feature detection. You can see it in the error of eyes. For example, in Instagram, you see some pictures that they said to you, please look at the center of the picture for more than, for example, 1 minute. And after that, change your direction. And you look at your eyes, that you see that eyes are going down and up. It is visual errors. It is visual errors. There is no movement in your hands. But you perceive, you think that, yes, my hands are going down. It is visual error. Why? Because of sensory perception. And also, for example, in camera, sometimes in your mobile, you can see some features like face detector, smile detector in the camera. Based on the detection in the camera, detection in the mobile, detection on the other instruments, is based on the structure of your brain. And the major field of neuroscience and bioengineering and medical engineering, these are the major fields in the universities. Medical engineering, engineering of the medicine, it is very, very important. In biomedicine, in electronic medicine, in physical medicine, for example, the approaches you can use for rehabilitation of older people. It is physical medical engineering, about the mechanical engineering in combination with medicine, knowledge of medicine. You can see also here that it's a camera, and also your lens is like the lens of camera. You see that everything is on the other side. Inversion and conversion, inversion and conversion. A camera's lens focuses the inverted image on the film in the same way the eye's lens focuses images on the retina. It is retina. It is at the film. Also, you know that there is nothing in the general population. We cannot use camera like this. Everything is better cameras now in your cell phones. Camera, iris, pupil, and lens. Trichromatic theory of color vision. What does it mean, color vision? Do you think you are the only being on the earth that can see colors? How do you think? Are we the only beings on the earth that can see colors? Can you see that? Can you think that, for example, cats can see the colors? Dogs can see the colors, or no? Their world is always black and white. How do you think? What's your prediction or your belief? Amy and Matthew.
I have my dog at home.
Your dog can see the colors?
My dog, no, he can't see the colors. I know, like, my dog name is EB, but I call him like baby. He's like now he's 7 years old.
7 years old. Why
Yeah.
do you think that your dog cannot see the colors?
Mm, because like I think like all dogs cannot see like they cannot see the colors, but they have like they cannot I don't know, but they cannot it's like you cannot like compare the color.
Mm-hmm.
It's like black and white.
Mm-hmm.
But EB his eyesight are like really bad.
Yeah.
But then he can well he can only smell like food or like that. He can only smell
Yeah. The best
people.
smell, sense of a smell, the best sense of a smell is in the dogs. And what do you think, Matthew? Do you think can
Well,
animals see the colors or not? Their word is black and
well,
white word or grayscale
I
word.
think from like I've like heard about like how different animals like see more like different like compared to humans, we see like a clear view, right? And some animals see like for example, I remember this one animal, I forgot what it was, but they see green,
Yeah.
like that, just that specific color. And there are other animals that may see another type of color,
Yeah.
but that's just what I've heard from.
It's very interesting that what you call reality is not stable, is not persistent. What you call it reality. There is a basic difference between reality and truth. Truth is a natural part. Truth cannot be changed, but reality can be changed. Why? Because reality is based on your perception. How do you interpret the data? In computer science, they say that what is the difference between data and information? And the answer is the processed information is called data. Processed information is called data. So that at first you gather not data, not information, you gather data on your sensory receptors, on your visual sensory receptors, auditory sensory receptors, taste sensory receptors, tactile sensory receptors, and smell sensory receptors. They are only data, not processed data. After transferring the data from your sensory receptors to your brain, and some data are processed during the spinal cord, but most of them are processed in the brain, especially in your cortex. After that, it is called information. And based on information, brain has some commands to the organs, to the actions. Internal commands, for example, for your stomach, and external commands for your eyes, for your hands, for your foot, and other parts, especially movement commands, motion commands, based on the processed data received by the sensory receptors in your many five. Why we call it many? Because honestly, you don't have five senses, you have 10 senses. Tactile sense has six senses. So visual, auditory, smell, taste. Tactile, touch, has six senses: light touch, pressure, temperature, vibration, pain, and sense of position. The receptors of these sense of position is called proprioception. Proprioception is the sense of position. Proprioception. So we have four specific senses. Why specific? Because their receptors are in a specific part of your body. Your foot doesn't have any type of visual sensory receptors, only your eyes. It is specific. Your hand doesn't have any type of, for example, auditory sensory receptors. Auditory sensory receptors are always on your ears, are also about the smell and taste. These four senses are called specific senses. But tactile, about your skin and your internal part of your body, is all your body have these receptors. All your body, skin, stomach, other parts, and muscles, and even your, for example, some parts of your vessels, your veins, and other parts. Because of that, tactile is called general senses. General sense. These general sense, that which is called the fifth sense, include six senses: light, pressure, light touch, pressure, temperature, temperature, vibration, pain, and proprioception or sense of position. 6 plus 4, in reality, we have 10 senses, not 5 senses. Why? Because the fifth sense includes 6 senses. But ordinarily, we say yes, we have 5 senses: visual, smell, taste, auditory, and sense of the skin or touch. Tactile sense is meant touching sense. Okay. The first part, which has the most cells in your brain, is the visual sense. The visual sense begins with your eyes and ending in your visual perceptual centers in your brain. Because of that, we can see the visual perceptions in both hemispheres of our brain. We have two hemispheres, left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Left hemisphere for your talking, for your calculation, for your mathematics, for your logic, and right hemisphere for your creation, for your imagination, for your creativity, and we have a part between them, so-called corpus callosum or white matter, corpus callosum or white body, white body. Integrate this part to that part, left hemisphere to right hemisphere. After death of Albert Einstein, they opened their brain by surgery, and they see that there is no specific difference in the structure of the brain of Albert Einstein, but only one difference. This integrative part, connecting part between left and right hemisphere was very huge. So the matter of function was not the matter of many complexity in the brain. The matter of function was the matter of how integrate your imagination with your logic, with your hemisphere, right hemisphere, and left hemisphere. Because of that, we can see, for example, in the brain of Albert Einstein, we cannot find any specific, very specific difference that we cannot find in other people. Only the integrity, all the connecting of data and the combination of imagination and logic, as Albert Einstein said himself, that imagination is more important than science. Science is for the left hemisphere, for the logic, and imagination and creativity is for right hemisphere. Critical thinking is for left hemisphere. Creative thinking is for right hemisphere. And also, we have several parts of brain. We have a spiritual brain, we have social brain, we have learning brain, we have sex brain, we have, for example, economic brain, and you can find it many books about them. I read a book some years ago. The title was Architectural Brain. What part of brain are involved in architectures? Architects. What parts of brain are involved? So for every aspect of human being, We at first we thought that we had very specific part of brain. After some researches and after using MRI and fMRI in a vast area of research about brain science as so-called neuroscience and neurology, we find that yes, some parts of brain are responsible for specific functions, but it doesn't mean that only that part can do it. If that part will have some damage or that part doesn't work, okay, other parts of brain can compensate its functions. It is called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the newest and hottest topic in neurology. That brain has the power to heal itself. Brain has the power to heal itself. In the old days, in the old years, we thought that no, if you lose your brain, your neural cells, you cannot do anything with the new cells. Sorry. So in vision or visual sense, we have three major colors: blue, green, and red. Blue, green, and red. Three kinds of cones exist in the retina. Cones are the major parts of sensory receptors in the eye. Sensory receptors, the area for sensory receptors are called cones. Three kinds of cones exist in the retina. One most responsive to blue violet, one to green, and one to yellow red. These are the major parts of receiving the colors in your retina. You can see it. Look at this point for 3 minutes, 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And after that, if you focus on the central point, after some seconds, you can see your visual, it is called tunnel vision. Your tunnel vision is expanded and go to peripheral vision. Only concentrate and focus on the central point. Only concentrate on that point. In hypnosis and other parts of concentration, we can use this type of concentration for changing your mind. Opponent process theory of color vision. Receptor cells are linked in pairs, blue with yellow, red or green, black or white, work in opposition to each other. What does it mean? It means that when you can receive and perceive black, when your reception for white is working, it is oppositional reaction. When you can, for example, perceive the color of yellow, when the receptor for color of blue is working on your eyes, and also about red green, it is linking pairs, working opposition to each other, increasing the blue, decreasing the yellow, increasing the red in your mind, in your brain, in your eyes. It's not about painting. It is about your neurology. Increasing red, decreasing green, increasing black, decreasing white. Hearing and other senses. What is the meaning of sound? Before entering the other senses, I want you to know about the major role of vision in your brain. Brain involve the most parts of your brain. Vision involves most part of your vision. After vision, it is about music. Because of that, when you hear a music, when you listen to the music, some parts of your brain are involved. And when you are you're watching a movie, many parts of your brain are involved. And when you see a video clip of the same music without video at first, you have heard without video, and after that you look at the video clip, it has the highest impact on your brain. You have heard many music pieces that you cannot remember that pieces, but after sometimes that you can see and you can watch the video clip of that music masterpiece, you see, yes, it is great, very, very good. Why? Because you can now imagine about the voices of that music. Because of that, it is very important for producers of music pieces to have some video for their musics. Why? Because when they have some video on their musics, they can broadcast in their audience minds and audience brains, because the deep effect of vision in your brain. So, sensing sound, sound movement of the air molecules brought about by vibration, it is called sound waves. Eardrum, some part of your ear, cochlea, it's not important, so important for you to know it. That doesn't have any major questions about the anatomy. And basilar membrane and hair cells, and semicircular canals. Semicircular canals, it is important because sometimes maybe in the future you want to enter the industry of entertainment industry, especially for example for singers, for auditions, for concerts. Little, very, very minimum information is good to have. Why? Because this is the basic parts. Movement of fluid here affects our sense of balance. It is not relative, it is your ear. If you move your hair, after sometimes you sense that you are not in balance. Semicircular canals in your deep brain, in the third part of your ear, is responsible for sense of balance in your body. It is not related to the listening. It is not related to hearing. It is about the sense of balance. And it is based on the movements of fluid in your ears. After that, you can sense out of balance or imbalance in your body. It's very important. Why? Because it is in this part of your body, which is called head. If your head is in the balance direction, all your body is in the balance. Why? Because you are the only being on the earth that stand on your foot. Other beings, none of them has 2 foot. They have 4, 2 foot and 2 hands on the earth. You are the only being on the earth that can walk by his foot. Because of that, the sense of balance is very important. Without having the sense of balance, you are at the risk of, for example, destroy other things by your body, or have some accident with other things around yourself, and also other things with you, other animals, other components of nature, other your social relationship, other parts will hurt you or you will hurt them. Because of that, you need the sense of balance. And the sense of balance, the center for sense of balance is in your deepest part of ear. A smell, olfaction, molecules enter the nasal passages and pass over olfactory cells are here. Receptor Neurons. Olfactory cells are called receptor neurons. Responses sent to brain where they are combined for recognition of particular smells. One of the greatest harms that cocaine creates in your body is about your olfactory cells. People who use cocaine by their nose sniffing, they are at the risk of entering to the part of losing their olfactory cells. And taste or gustation. Receptor cells in the taste buds respond to 5 basic stimuli: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. These are the basic parts. For example, bitter, the receptor for bitter is at the end part of your mouth. Your tip of the tongue is about salty. When you want to know some food or salty, a very tip of the touching a tip of the tongue. But skin senses. It is important to know about the skin senses. Touch, pressure, we talked about the temperature, pain, receptors are distributed eventually throughout the body. Also, in addition with touch, pressure, temperature, and pain, we have vibration and sense of position or proprioception. Substance P. Substance P is the substance for pain, some part of your body, of your skin, which can control the sense of pain. Gate control theory of pain says that something like threshold for receiving and for understanding, for perceiving the meaning of pain in your body, in your brain. The threshold of pain stimulus, painful stimulus, should be at the minimum level to trigger the message of pain to your pain centers in your brain. It is gate control theory. Under that threshold, for example, when you're walking, there are some pressure between the earth, between the ground and your foot. And it is painful. But the threshold of this pain is not enough for trigger and open the gate of the pain to send the message to your brain. If it is, you cannot walk. Imagine the word that people are receiving pain when they are walking. They cannot walk. It's painful. But you don't feel any pain. Your pain receptors, when they are working with the pressure on the earth because of your weight, because of the rigidness of the earth, of the ground, it is painful. But the degree of pain, the severity of pain is not so high to open the gate of sending the message of pain to your brain. Because of that, it's called gate control theory of pain. And substance P. People who always use opium. Do you know what's opium? Opium is the substance used for many drugs, for painkillers, but you can abuse it. Opium, it is narcotic. It is opium, and sometimes it is heroin. All are the family of opium. People can abuse it. One of the greatest problems in America is opioids, the matter and the substance which are received from the opium family, opioids. And when they want to quit using opium, they are opium addicted. Opium has two parts, has two effects on your body. On your body, it is painkiller. Many formal painkiller in pharmacy you can find, they have opium. Okay, it's very good. It's the oldest painkiller with 5,000 years of history. The oldest painkiller in the history of human is opium. But as a drug, as a medication, not as a substance abuse. When they want to quit opium abuse, Because of opium has two effects on your body. One, painkiller. Two, euphoria. Euphoria is making you high. Because of that, when they quit using external opium to their body, their substance P doesn't work. Their pain receptors doesn't work. So one of the withdrawal syndrome are the signs that you can experience during the withdrawing from using some illegal or non-medical substances. For example, cocaine, even marijuana, opium, even tobacco and cigarettes all have some withdrawal syndrome with different signs. For example, when you want to quit your cigarette, you're smoking, you have some, for example, overweight and over appetite and some aggressive. Okay, at first for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, it's over. Only you have some craving for using and for smoking the cigarette. There is no body problem after 2 weeks. It is withdrawal syndrome, for example, for tobacco and cigarettes, and also for cocaine, for heroin, for marijuana, and for opium. Because opium is a good painkiller, when you quit using external opium, your pain receptors doesn't work. The gates are always open. So you will uh, feel very high degree of your pain in your muscles for 10 days to 40 days, 2 weeks. And after that, it is good. Why? Because of using external opium as a substance abuse, your body has a habituation not to produce natural opium. Your body says, yes, we have a lot of opium here because my owner, my body owner, is using opium as an external substance abuse. And after that, body sees that, wow, the source of external opium is cut, is created. How can I create the natural opium in body? It is 10 days to 40 days that body will go back to the natural state of producing natural opium. Everything you can see in the nature, and sometimes people, sometimes human beings use them and substance abuse, everything is a natural part in your body. For example, your body creates naturally alcohol in your body. It's good. Many parts of your body has natural alcohol, doesn't need any entering external alcohol. Your body has the material of opium in your body as a painkiller, as a natural part of your body. It doesn't need to enter the external opium to your body. But when you use it, the external sources, the internal sources will reduce their activity. And after that, quitting the external sources and internal sources doesn't work so good. So in this distance is pain. You will experience pain until the internal sources come up and produce enough, for example, opium for your body. We are now talking about the perception. I said to you that perception is meant give meaning, making senses to the sensations, making meaning for the sensations. You see here. It's very important, very important, that what you see in the pictures. For example, in the left picture, blue picture, somebody at first see the jar, a white jar. Here, it's the jar. It's a jar. Some people see two people, two faces. It's important that you see at first the white part or blue part. Or again here, Some people at first see the back part. Some people at first see the front part. And especially in the third, a man with the saxophone or a woman here. Here is the cheek and lip and mouth and nose and eyes of a woman. What you see as the external part of saxophone, it is the neck of the woman here. Also, it is not perceptual error. These are not error. These are reality. Different perceptions for one unique image. Different perceptions. Closure, proximity, similarity, and simplicity. Closure is about how close the items are together when we want to perceive. More closed, more similar perception. You perceive, you give meaning to the close things together with the same meaning. Closure is mean very near together. And proximity is, for example, here, you see proximity. And also similarity. It is the same shape, not same color. It is similarity, two faces. It is proximity. Proximity is means one thing at the side of another thing. It is proximity. Different shapes, different colors, but they have at the side of each other. You see the man with the saxophone player, with the face of a woman. They are not the same shape. These are the same shape, similarity, but we don't have any similarity here. These are not similar. But we have proximity. Proximity, they are at the side of each other. We have here closure. So we have four components to perceive something into a meaningful whole. Gestalt is mean patterns. We have some types of Gestalt therapy. Gestalt therapy says that your problem is about your unfinished business, uncompleted tasks. It is Gestalt therapy. Also, again, you say closure, proximity, similarity, and simplicity. Closure, proximity, similarity, and simplicity. Top-down processing and bottom-up processing. Top-down processing says that perception is guided by higher level knowledge, experience, expectations, and motivation. And bottom-up processing information by processing from the individual elements of a stimulus and moving down to the perception of whole. It is something like induction and deduction in research method, in logic. In induction, you don't have any theory. You're gathering information, you put the components together to find a whole meaning. It is induction. And in deduction, you have a total theory or total fact, and you want to know the details of that fact, that reality. It is deduction. Top down and bottom up. Top down is deduction and bottom up is induction. Also, we can find it in the processing. Processing, when you know about the information processing, it is a very, very important part of IT. Information processing. How can our mind process the data? And perceptual constancy is meant physical objects are perceived as unvarying and consistent despite changes in appearance or changes in the physical environment. Because of that, you can experience the different slides which go after each other, back to back as a movie. The movie is at the basic part, many frames, many frames that with the logical speed, they go after each other. But you cannot perceive them as different and separated slides. They perceive them as a constant movie. They said, yeah, such a good movie it is. But honestly, they are not movie. They are slides of photos. Basically, in the industry of cinema, at the first part, cinematograph. Cinematograph is mean graphy of something which is cinematic. Cinematic is mean some picture. Cinematograph. And now we have a very modern industry to produce the frames with the, for example, lasers, as you CDs and DVDs and other parts in the internet. Because of perceptual constancy, you cannot perceive something which is apart from each other in a movie. Physical objects are perceived as unvarying and consistent despite changes in appearance or changes in physical environment. The image on your retina, for example, of a person far away from it's very small, but you understand her to be a normal size. The different parts, similarity and, for example, proximity and simplicity and closure are coming together. He or she is so far from you. Yes, you can understand, not predict the exact distance between you and that, for example, woman or man. Okay, but you can see or her or him as a whole body, not separate parts. It is perceptual constancy. And depth perception. Depth perception is very, very important. Why? About the age of 4 to 6, you received, you gained the ability to have some perception about the depth. Before that, children cannot understand the depth of, for example, pool. They don't have any correct perception about the depth of pool, about depth. Between the age of 4 to 6, in different cultures, in different families, in different people, between the age of the 4 to 6, human being can gain the ability to perceive the depth, the ability to view the world in 3 dimensions and to perceive distance. Binocular disparity and monocular clues or motion parallax. These are the problems that we can find. Binocular disparity is very common, but monocular cues is not so common. Some people have some monocular cue, only one part, only one side, only one dimension, not 3 dimensions. And also it is not disorder, but it is the problem. Okay, we can go for 15 minutes break, and after 15 minutes, be here again, about 6:55.
Okay.
Okay, in this part, I want to teach you about the states of consciousness and alter the states of consciousness, which is a very old and also newly focused on the research area by John Hopkins Hospital and other authoritative scientific universities about the consciousness, especially in the therapeutic settings and in the pure science about the biology and neurology of mind, not about the brain. So it's very important for you to know about the introductory parts of brain science about the sleep and consciousness. What is sleep? What are the stages of sleep? What does it mean when we say arousal, when we say awareness, when we say consciousness, awakening? What are the difference between these words? Because honestly, these are not the words; these are the concepts that we should know about the differences between them to have a good diagnosis on our sometimes problems, sometimes our disorders, and also know about the how can we regulate and how can we have a good program for our daily programs with the highest productivity in the energy consumption. For all of these reasons, it's very important for everybody to know the basic elements and basic components of the consciousness. Also, you know that the consciousness is a very mystical, very, very mystical concept, very mysticist and very divinity uh, concepts are about the dreams, about the wishes, about the lucid dreams and other parts. Because of that, one chapter or all, at least one chapter of all general psychology books and introduction to psychology books is for the consciousness and the altered states of consciousness. At the part about the sleep and dreams, we want to know the learning object outcomes are summarize the stages of sleep and explain REM sleep, explain why we sleep and how much sleep is necessary, differentiate the explanations of dreaming, state the impact of sleep disturbances, and explain circadian rhythms, the daily rhythms, 24-hour rhythms, biological rhythms. At first, the stage of sleep. What is the meaning of consciousness? What is consciousness? We say consciousness and unconsciousness. Consciousness is awareness of the sensations, thoughts, and feelings being experienced at a given moment. So the keywords are at first awareness. Consciousness is the same awareness? No. Awareness is a part of consciousness. You can be aware but not conscious. When your awareness is called consciousness, when your awareness is about your sensations, awareness of thought, awareness of feeling, and at a given moment. So, awareness in a specific period of time, in a given moment, is awareness. And after that, we go to the stages of sleep. Sleep has 4 stages. The first, third stage, the 3 stages are non-REM. Non-REM is mean non-rapid eye movement stages. And the fourth stage is called REM stage or REM stage that we will talk about them. The first stage, transition between wakefulness and sleep, rapid low amplitude brain waves. It's very important. If you are an expert in the neurological science and you can only see the brain waves of a man or a woman, you can see that he is awake, he is asleep, he has consciousness. If he or she is asleep, in which stage? Only by the EEG, electroencephalograph, only the graphing of brain waves. The brain waves will talk about the stages of sleep with us, which stage he or she is at just now. transition between wakefulness and sleep, rapid, low amplitude brainwaves. And stage 2 is deeper sleep, slower, more regular waves, and includes momentary interruption of sleep spindles. Sometimes you have something very rapid spindles. At the third stage, it is deepest stage when we are least responsive to outside stimulation. It is very interesting that in the third stage, one of the greatest, one of the powerful external stimulus that can awake you is your name, is only your name in the deepest stage. It's very important. Why? Because it shows that self protection is always working for you, even when you are asleep. In the time of sleep, again and again and again, self protective systems are working. If you are asleep and someone says, for example, hey me, hey me, hey me, Matthew, you are in the deepest sleep. Arash, in the deepest part of a sleep, hey me say, uh, what? In the deepest part. It's very important that the familiar voices and familiar names are perceived even in the deepest stages of sleep. And you can see the waves, the depth of the sleep, awake, non-REM, non-REM, non-REM. Also, it is not important for you. It is for medical students, and this part is sleep. It is called the brain waves. Now we want to talk about this part. It's very important. It is the gate of metaphysical perceptions. It is the gate of future seeing. It is the gate of altered states of consciousness. It is the gate of dream. Because of that, if you know, for example, accept or not accept metaphysical experiences, out of body experience, or everything sound like this, it's not important. It is rapid eye movement when you are in sleep, and I see your eyes, that your eyes are moving when your eyes are closed. Your eyes moving. Rapid eye movement. It is REM. Fourth stage, about 20% of sleep. Between 90 minutes to 100 minutes, based on the different books and different sources. Between 90 minutes to 100 minutes is a full duration of sleep for fourth stage. After that, we go to the other duration, other circle. 20% of 100 minutes is about 20 minutes. Increase heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing. You are experiencing everything in this part of your sleep. Erections in males, sexual erections, rapid back and forth eye movement. It is observable by the external people, external observers. Major muscles appear to be paralyzed, very, very relaxed. Most dreams occur in REM, experienced, not necessarily remembered by everyone. Some people say, you, like my father, always said me that I don't have any dream in the sleep. It is not true. If you don't have any dream in your sleep, after sleep, you cannot feel to be fresh. You cannot feel to be relaxed. You feel fatigued. Some people say that they don't have any dream in the sleep. It means that they cannot remember their dream, not having their dream. They cannot remember their dream. And the most interruptions in sleep occurs in this part, stage 4, especially after 3 or 4 cycles, 4 to 5 cycles. Every cycle It between 19 minutes to 100 minutes. But after 6 to 8 hours, REM is very good rememberable. Very good rememberable. You can remember every dream near your, for example, morning. For example, between uh, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Every dream is, yes, you can remember. Why? Because after 4 to 5 cycles, REM is a very good stage for shaping and creating dreams. Some dreams are related to your, for example, daily stresses, and some other parts is not related to them. We can have some lucid dreams. Some people say that they have some inspiration in their dreams. Some scientists have said that they have some good idea, they have some good experiences, some good answers to the problems, to the questions about the scientific problems in this part of dream. Some people work with their dreams intentionally. Also, don't want to talk about these. Interesting. Honestly, it is interesting. I have done many hypnotherapy in my country, and I know that dream and entering the dream is not so dangerous. Honestly, it is not so dangerous. And it is sometimes interesting, but there are a lot of healing effects in working with dreams. So, basic questions. Do we sleep? It's a basic question. Why do we sleep? Sleep is required for normal functioning and ultimately for survival. But how much? So it is about normal functioning. It is a repairing system for your body. It is a repairing system for your mind. It is a repairing system for your thinking, for your creativity, especially when you sleep in the night. I have worked as a nurse near 9 years with the night shifts, with the night works. And when your sleep cycle will disturb, you cannot have a good concentration. You will be very, very irritable, hyper arousal, aggressive, lower concentration, lower tolerance. Sleep is very important. No set amount is required for everyone. It is not regular set amount, just 7 hours, just 8 hours, just 6 hours. For everyone, it is related to the nature of his or her body. But most people sleep between 7 to 8 hours per night, but there is much variability between 6 hours to 9 hours. Average is 7 to 8. Yes, I know some people that 4 hours per day or per night is enough for them. It is not normal. It is so rarely. Norm is the most frequent rate between people is called normal. And the function of dreams, why we have dreams. Freud, as the founder of psychoanalysis, has the major emphasis on the importance of dreams. Unconscious wish fulfillment theory. This means dreams represent unconscious wishes of the dreamer. Unconscious. Suppressed derives, suppressed wishes, suppressed stressful actions in your life, suppressed. You don't want to be aware of them. For example, if you have some sexual, not legal sexual orientation, not a formal sexual, for example, dreams, you don't want to remember that part of yourself. Also, it is yourself, but you don't want to uh, think about those parts. It comes to your dreams, and it is good for your survival because it has a lot of energy that it cannot be free. It can destroy yourself. It can show itself as a cancer, for example, as mental illnesses and other parts. Because of that, to have dreaming in night is very important, very survival effect in your life. And latent components and manifest content of dreams. Latent content of dreams, it is some part of dreams that uh, it's not important for you, but manifest has some specific meaning about the dreams. For example, you have some uh, meanings that after after awakening the scene, what does it mean? What an interesting and sometimes bizarre, not normal dream I had. It's about the manifestation part of your dreams. Also, you know that many people, especially religious people, have had some uh, non uh, non-scientific beliefs about dreams. For example, some people say yes, dream is the uh, location for working with God, for connecting with God. Some people say they say that yes, I have some experiences to connect with God in dream. In that dream is not the sleep dream; it is daydream, awakening. It is something we were talking about meditation just now. It's something like deep meditation. Yes, in deep meditation, especially in specific method of meditation, so-called transcendental meditation, TM, coined by Maharishna Mahesh Yogi at the 60s and 70s. Maharishna Mahesh Yogi died, I think, about 10 years ago. In that type of meditation, transcendental meditation, TM, yes, in that type of meditation, you can create some types of dreams. But regularly, no. Dreams are dreams without any religious, any spiritual connection, except of that people who are basically a spiritual people. Yes, spirituality can be spread to all aspects of your life. In that part, yes. The function of dreams. Dream for survival theory and activation synthesis theory. You can see the theories here. Unconscious wish fulminant theory by Freud says basic explanation in this theory about the dreams is dreams represent unconscious wishes the dreamer wants to fulfill. It is the basic explanation for dreams in Freud theory about the dreams. Freud is the first psychopathologist, the first neurologist, the first physician, uh, the first scientist who import the dream to the concepts of science of psychology, to the concept of psychoanalysis. Freud has a very good book who has written, I think, 19, yes, 1095, yes, 1905, 95. There's a book by the title of Interpretation of Dreams. Interpretation of Dreams. The book by author is Freud, Sigmund Freud. It's a complete book about the meaning of dreams when you experience them in your sleep. And meaning of dreams for Freud was latent control reveals unconscious wishes. And is meaning of dream disguised? Yes, by manifest contents of dreams. It is in the theory of Freud. But dreams for survival theory says us information relevant to daily survival is reconsidered and reprocessed. Because of that, it is good for our survival. A meaning of dreams in the theory of dreams for survival is clues to everybody concerned about survival. It shows your concern, you're worrying about your life, about your survival. And is there any meaning of dreams discussed? No, not necessary. And in activation synthesis theory, basic explanation for dreams is that dreams are the result of random activation of various memories which are tied together in a logical storyline. Various. It's a random. And what is the meaning of dreams here? Again, dream scenario that is constructed related to the dreamer's concern. And there is not necessarily about the dreams discussed. Sleep disturbances, insomnia, sleep apnea about your breath, night terrors, and narcolepsy, sleepwalking, and sleep talking. There's a very, very famous movie with the title of Insomnia. Insomnia in New York, I think. Yes, Insomnia in New York. And insomnia, you cannot sleep. It means you cannot sleep so good. You are always awake. Insomnia, loss of sleep. I think uh, the, the actor in the movie is Robert De Niro. Insomnia. Very, very beautiful. Very, very good movie about the psychology. Also, very good movie and as the aspect of cinematographic uh, beauties of movie. Sleep apnea is has some problems in your sleep by your breath. For example, uh, people say that I cannot breathe in sleep. It is called sleep apnea. Or he or she is asleep, and other people which are who are aware, they said they have or he has or she has some problems of breathing in sleep. It is called sleep apnea. Very, very popular problem. Nightly terrors or night terrors is the panics, is the terrors that you can experience during the night when you are asleep. And after awaking, you cannot remember anything, especially in children. They cannot remember anything. Other people, mother, father, spouse, and for example, siblings says, yes, you have some panic attack in the night. For example, you were screaming and you have some problems and talking to yourself and some bad words against other people. It is night terror. But when they are awake, they cannot remember anything. It is night terror. Narcolepsy is sudden sleep. Sudden sleep. You can see the narcolepsy documentaries in the YouTube. Very good narcolepsy documentary in the YouTube, and which is very hazardous, very, very hazardous. Why? When you are narcoleptic, you cannot drive. Why? Suddenly, when you are driving, you go to sleep only in, for example, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, suddenly, full sleep, full deep sleep, only for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You faint up, faint down on the ground. If you are stand up and you are talking, you fail. And sleepwalking and sleep talking, as you see, sleepwalking is when you are in a walk, you talk to yourself is something different from nightly throw, which is a panic, with the throw, with the sense of throw, sense of panic, sense of hazard. But sleepwalking is only when sleep talking is only talking to yourself. Sleepwalking also is hazardous. It's not so usual to see a sleepwalking. Sleep talking is very usual, but sleepwalking is not so usual, but it is hazardous. If somebody has the problem of sleep walking, it is so hazardous. So when they are asleep, they don't have any consciousness about the direction, about the finding direction, but they are walking. Yes, Matthew. Matthew, is there any question?
These disturbances, they cannot be cured, right?
Kill somebody
Can you
else?
can you hear me?
Yeah. What was your question?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was just asking. These disturbances, they can't be cured, right?
Yeah. 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 Some of the problems, some of the problems, when you lose your consciousness, you can do everything. Everything. As a crime. Kill yourself or kill other people. What is the problem? What is the difference between crime and mental illness? It's about free will. If you have some free will, and you doing what you want to do, okay, you are a criminal. If you don't have any free will on what you are doing, you have some mental disorders. It is related to the forensic psychologists and forensic psychiatrists. They can say that yes, he or she is with a mental disorder, or no, yes, he or she is criminal. He has done it with he intentionally, not out of service, not out of control. Okay, but some part of problems like sleep disturbance, it is very hard. Also, when you have a sleepwalking, when you have night terror, yes, it shows that it's a problem. But we have some pretending, some histrionic behaviors from other people's, that pretending that yes, I don't have any control on my actions when I am asleep, but they have control. Okay, the next part is about circadian rhythms. What are circadian rhythms? Circadian rhythms are biological rhythms. Circadian rhythms are here as biological rhythms. What does it mean? For example, we have some fixed, some stable changes in our daily temperature from the time we wake up until the time we go to sleep, and also during the sleep. Some changes in our temperature, body temperature, or for sense of energy. For example, we know that between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., you are at the highest energy of working your mind with your mind. And also between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. These are the highest energetic points of your body for working with your mind, with your brain, for studying, for calculating, for creativity, 10 to 12 morning and 4 to 6 evening. But I see in for the 10 to 12, for example, people are aggressive or are tea time and other part, they are wasting their time. Or we know that when you are at sleep, your temperature come down, cooler, cooler, cooler. Because of that, during the night, you feel that it is very cold because your temperature come down. Sleep is something like dying. When you die, your body is completely cold. Sleep is something like dying, the same process. And after waking up, it began to increase, increase, increase near the 5 p.m., between 4 to 5 p.m. Your temperature is at the highest. And after that, again, will come down to prepare you for going and entering the sleep. For example, it is the circadian rhythm of temperature, the circadian rhythm of energy, the circadian rhythm of, for example, freshness, or your circular system, blood system. Biological processes that occur regularly and approximate a 24-hour cycle. Why we say 24-hour cycle? Circadian rhythms are always for one day. We have some biological rhythms that more than one day. For example, menopause in ladies and females every 28 days, one time per 4 weeks in human being, not other mammals. It is a biological rhythm, yes. Every female experiencing some bleeding and some hormonal problems in her body once a 4 weeks in 28 days. It is biological rhythm, yes. It is circadian, no. Circadian is always for one day, for 24 hours. Or, for example, some mental disorders and some human traits are seasonal. For example, when it is fall, many people feel that they are a little depressed. Sometimes people say, no, it is very romantic. Or when just now, for example, it is near the entering the spring, everybody says, yes, I think vitality and zest is coming up inside me. near the spring. These are seasonal. Also, in mental disorders, we have seasonal depressions. Some people say we always in winter feel that we have lower energy, with sense of fatigue. We are leader aggression and poor concentration, sleep problems, sexual problems, lower functioning, or on the opposite part, higher functioning, very high appetite, very increasing their weight and other things. These are the seasonal models for changing. Repeatable and repeatable and repeatable, yes, but not in one day. For example, in once a year or once a month. These are biological rhythms, but not circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms always are for one day. Biological process or biological rhythms that occur regularly and approximately a 24-hour cycle. From the Latin circa diem, around the day. Diem is, in Latin word, diem is mean day. For example, one of the greatest sentences I love is carpe diem. Carpe diem is means seize the day. Seize the day. Carpe diem. It is a very famous phrase. You can check it in the internet. Carpe diem is seize the day.
I know that I saw the movie. I think
Yeah,
it was called like Dead Poets Society.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. When I was 22, 27 years ago, 27 years ago, I saw the movie Dead Poets Society, one of the most fantastic movies I have seen up to now. Carpe Diem, I heard the word Carpe Diem the first time in that movie by Robin Williams and said, Carpe Diem, seize the day and make your life extraordinary. Carpe Diem. Diem is meant day and circa is meant circle, around. So circadian is mean around one day. A sleep wake cycle, we talk about it, and bodily functions such as body temperature, hormone production, and blood pressure. We talk about it. Hypnosis and meditation. Hypnosis. A trance-like state is not a trance. It is a trance-like, trance with CE, not trance with S. A trance-like state of heightened stability to the suggestion of others. It is hypnosis. People don't lose all will of their own. It's a great false that when you are under hypnosis, you lose all your will or your, for example, force. No, it is a brain state. It is for the movies, for the stage that say you have lost all your will, all your forces, all your control. It's false belief. Don't lose all will up. They will be susceptibility to the suggestion of others. Suggestibility, yes, increasing suggestibility is very popular, very common, very usual in hypnosis stage. People cannot be hypnotized against their will. Perfect. We are talking about the false belief about the hypnosis. More easily hypnotized if high ability to concentrate and become absorbed in what you are doing. It is a false belief about the hypnosis that stupid people can be hypnotized easily. It is false belief. Stupid people cannot be hypnotized so easily. Why? Because the stupid people cannot. One of the signs of to be stupid is you cannot concentrate. If you cannot concentrate, it is hard to hypnosis you. Very hard. The basic part of hypnosis is something like meditation, concentration on a very, very, very narrow, specific type of, for example, patterns. And meditation. You heard a lot about it, meditation. A learned technique for refocusing attention that brings about an altered state of consciousness. An extra information I want you to know about the differences between meditation and Zen, Z-E-N. Zen and meditation, and sometimes it's called Zen meditation. Meditation, it is about concentration. Zen is about attention. Technically, they are different, but general population say about it in general words, public words. Meditation is concentration on something specific, not for a long term. but for a specific duration of time, for a given time. And repetition of a mantra. Mantra is the voice. We have mantra and tantra. Mantra is the voice, repeating voice. For example, the greatest, the basic word, the basic mantra is Aum. Aum is meant when God wanted to create the world, there was a tray of water, a tray of water with the lower height, a tray of water, and God pushed it by finger on the tray of water, and the voice in the creation and the voice of wave in the water that shows that yes, something is created, so-called human, was It is the mantra of It's the very most famous mantra in the meditation. Very famous and very old. It is the song of creation, the song of God. When God pushed the tray of water and say, create. It's mantra. Mantra is about the voices. We have different voice mantra. And everybody go to yoga, to meditation, and other parts. They have their own specific mantra, which is secret. I have one. When I went to yoga sessions, after many sessions, they said to me, yes, you are ready now to have your specific personal mantra. And nobody except of you doesn't know about it. Never, until you die. It's my speaking. And other parts is tantra. Tantra is about the pictures. You see a lot of pictures, so-called tantra. You can check it in internet. Very geographical and sometimes geological and sometimes with the very, very bizarre and not normal, abnormal figures and abnormal shapes and abnormal forms. These are tantra. So in meditation, we have two parts for meditate. One, meditate on voices. Two, meditate on figures or pictures. The first part on voices is mantra. The second one is tantra, and we have several parts for experiencing meditation. Oxygen usage decreases, heart rate and blood pressure decline, and brainwave pattern change, means of bringing about deep relaxations and practice in many cultures. Many people think that the practice of praying God in churches, in mosques, in temples, are some types of meditation. Also, drug use and drug abuse can create alter the state of consciousness. What are the psychoactive drugs? Very popular word. Influence a person, emotion, perception, and behavior. Everything. Even coffee. Scientifically, coffee is a psychoactive drug. Coffee. Scientifically, it is not bad or good. Scientifically, when you drink your coffee, your level of consciousness rise. You're more fresh. And you have some sleep problems. You cannot sleep. It is good for the night of exams. Even coffee is a psychoactive. Even alcohol is a psychoactive drug. But these are not very heavy psychoactive drugs. Very, very smooth psychoactive drug. Only, for example, anxiety disorder and sleep. Amy, any question?
I have a question, but does coffee, like when you drink coffee, sometimes I feel like a little bit headache.
Uh-huh.
I think that's because of the caffeine.
Sometimes. Yes.
Yes.
We have 13 psychoactive substance. 13. 1, 3. One of them is coffee. One of them is opium family, opioids. One of them is cocaine. One of them hallucinogens. One of them is, for example, cannabinoids, something from like marijuana.
Oh, marijuana? I heard
Marijuana, yes,
that
marijuana is
before.
psychoactive. Yes, marijuana and hash and marijuana are psychoactive drugs, substances, and alcohol
Mm.
and coffee. These are, we have 13 psychoactive substance, psychoactive drugs, from the lower effect to the higher effect. For example, one of the greatest and one of the highest effects of these are for cocaine. Cocaine is very higher. Or for amphetamines like glass, like ecstasia, and other drugs, informal and illegal drugs like heroin. These are not drugs, these are substances. And addictive drugs produce a biological or psychological dependency. For example, marijuana doesn't have any biological dependency, but it's a high rate of psychological dependency. If you want to quit using marijuana, its craving is very high. Its craving is very high. It creates a lot of disturbance for you when you want to quit using marijuana. Withdrawal leads to craving that for some, maybe nearly irresistible sometimes. It's very interesting that cigars, cigarettes, has both sides, psychological dependency and biological dependency, with the highest rate of craving. Alcohol as cigar are more important, more dangerous than everything that you can find in psychoactive. Very regular, alcohol and cigar. You can find many people smoke cigarettes. You can find many people drink alcohol for a long time. And when you want them that quit drinking or to quit smoking, they say, every time I want, I can quit it. It's a great lie. It is not easy at all. It is impossible, but not easy at all. And psychophysiological, psychological dependency. Okay, I'm satisfied with the information you gain in this session because it can help your regular life. So let's go to your exam, week to exam, and take your exam. Have a good night.
Isn't it quiz?
Yes,
Oh,
every week you have quizzes. Every week.